Hello, it's your favorite sports Unc here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry. In the biggest shocker of the day, unranked, the Oklahoma Sooners, unranked, upset the number 7 Alabama Crimson Tide 24-3, which likely ends the Crimson Tide playoff hopes after a third loss of the season. The Tide had lost 3 games this season, haven't lost 3 games in a season since 2010.
I have a question, before you even go on. You just said we started out Oklahoma upsets number 7 Alabama. Is it really an upset with the way Alabama has been playing all season? Is it really, when you think about it, the way they played all season?
Yeah. Oklahoma coming into that game was 5-5. Now you tell me.
All right. Go ahead.
But Alabama couldn't stop the run. Oklahoma ran the ball 50 times for 257 yards. They threw the ball 11 times for 68 yards. The one thing Alabama has always prided themselves on is the ability to stop the run. And they could not stop it. Also, this is what we know about Alabama. Jalen Milroe, when they lose ball games, all you got to do is just go back and look at his turnover. Look and see what he did. Go back and look at Vanderbilt. They lost. He turned the ball over multiple times. Go back and look at Tennessee. He turned the ball over multiple times. Look at Alabama. He turned the ball over multiple times. What he needs to realize, your team is not good enough to overcome your mistakes. They're not. They're just not. They're not equipped to deal with that. And the way Alabama has always been built is that they take the ball away. They don't give it away. They normally able to run the football, not allow you to run the football. But this year, they haven't been able to stop the run consistently. And when Jalen Milroe plays a clean game, when he doesn't turn it over or he minimizes his turnover, Alabama has the ability to win all their games. Well, they've lost 3, lost to unranked Vanderbilt, they lost to Tennessee, and they lost to unranked Oklahoma, which probably, with all likelihood, ends their college football playoff hopes. And that's a good thing because all Alabama was going to do was get in there and get embarrassed.
But listen, especially for Jalen Milroe, I'm not trying to make any excuses for him, but the 2 defensive ends for Oklahoma today caused havoc the entirety of the game. All 4 quarters. They made him very uncomfortable. He couldn't even get in the rhythm. He couldn't get in the rhythm if he wanted to, and he had happy feet, always having someone draped on him when he was trying to throw the ball. I would love to give Oklahoma their credit to the defensive scheme that they played against Alabama, not only making him uncomfortable, but the secondary as well and the second level playing extremely well. Where they couldn't run the ball. They really, honestly, they really couldn't do anything. Honestly,
no.
They were one-dimensional all goddamn day, and the one thing they could do, they couldn't even do that.
Oklahoma is very good against the rush. So you know and that's what you do. When you have a team in your building and you know the crowd is going to be a factor, what you try to do, you take away the run. Now we get an opportunity to pin our ears back because we know they're going to be a tad late getting off the ball. And I know everybody's going to silent count. Everybody's looking. The guard looks back at the quarterback. You ready? And then he flashes his hand in front of the That's not the same as being able to hear that snap count. Because now the tackle's got to try to do this inside, but he's got edge rushers on the edge. And so now you're just a fraction. And that's all these guys need. That he who hesitates is beat. But give Oklahoma credit. They came ready to play. They're trying to get bowl eligible. It's really that simple. I mean, these teams, we're not going to the college football playoff, but we can end on a great note. We can get to a bowl, possibly win a bowl, give us something good to go into the spring practice for, something for us to build on 2025. But Alabama, this is a very, very, you lose to unranked Vanderbilt, you lose to unranked Oklahoma. There's no shame in losing on the road at Tennessee, but you got to cut down on the turnovers because your team is not good enough to overcome that. Jalen Milroe did not play particularly well today. Well, he didn't play well at all. Ain't no particular. He didn't play well. You're right, Ocho. They did a great job of getting after him, but they're going to get after your ass in the NFL. You say you have hopes and dreams and aspirations to play at the next level. What do you think you're going to be able to pat the ball back there like you're in 7-on-7? No, you're going to have to be able to function under duress. And that's what the great quarterbacks, the great players can do. They can function under duress. And tonight, he did not do a good job of that. But they couldn't run the football, like you mentioned, 30 rushes, 70 yards. Now you're one-dimensional. I know you can't run it. You know you can't run it. And so now we're going to put you in 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11, 2nd and long, 3rd and long. Now we just come get you. Really, I mean, they got okay receivers. Williams is sensational, the freshman, and Bernard, he number 5. So they got receivers, but tonight was not Alabama's finest showing, considering they played a team that was very inspired. Brett Venables wanted to give it, he hears the whispers. This is not the Oklahoma. Oklahoma don't go 6 and 5. But give those guys credit. Give Oklahoma credit. They came out ready to play. They took it to Alabama, and Alabama now, for all intents and purposes, are done with the college football playoff. I just don't see how you lose 2 games to unranked teams. That's 3 losses, and somehow you still make it in, especially unranked team. If these teams were ranked, like, damn, that is a tough gauntlet, man. You lost to Oklahoma ranked, you lost to Vanderbilt ranked, you lost to Tennessee ranked, but you lost to 2 of these teams. They were unranked at the time in which they beat you.
I have a question, especially the question for the chat too, as well. Understanding how the voters always have some type of favoritism for teams like this. Sometimes the rules are skewed. They do things uncharacteristic to allow a certain team to get in the playoffs. How would y'all feel, Unc? How would you feel if for some reason Alabama is able to get in the playoffs anyway, even with having 3 losses?
Well, look, Alabama has a huge fan base. They're going to travel. They rate very well. But who do you leave? I mean, Georgia seems like they're going to go. The only thing that I hate, Ocho, is that the conference, and Lane Kiffin brought this up. He said there might be a team that's on the bubble, a team that has 2 losses. They go to the conference championship. They lose. They're going to be out. While somebody didn't even make their conference title get an opportunity to go. So if you're not careful, Ocho, the next couple of years, you watch the Big Ten and the SEC say the hell away with big championships because they don't mean anything. They cause more harm than good. Because the last thing I want to do is go to a championship game, Ocho, and lose it and get beat, and a team that didn't even make it gets an opportunity to go. So we're going to see how that plays out. Obviously, the SEC and the Big Ten controls all the cards. Whatever they say is going to go. There's nothing the NCAA, there's nothing the ACC, there's nothing any other conference can do about it. Those 2 mega conferences control everything because they have all the blue bloods. They have all the programs. They have the Alabamas, the Georgias. They have the Texases. They have the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Penn States, and yada, yada, yada. So they're going to control what college football is going to look like moving forward.
The funny thing before you finish is I understand Alabama has 3 losses now, but also what it comes down to, what we can't forget about is what's the most important factor for these teams when it comes down to teams going into the playoffs. It's all about money at the end of the day. Who's going to generate us the most revenue as well? So despite those losses, I'm just saying for those of you in the chat and those of you that are going to see this at some point, let's forget what the bottom line is at the end of the day. What teams going into the playoffs can generate the most revenue?
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Texas A&M. I mean, because look, you got Georgia, you got Texas, and you got A&M vying to go to the SEC championship. So there's a chance that one of those teams don't go, and then one of those teams do. The other 2 teams go. Somebody's got to lose, and guess what? The other team just sitting right back there saying, "Thank you." Because it's not that you lost. When did you lose? It's better to lose early than lose late. We've seen that before. But this is going to be very interesting. I don't think Alabama would have earned the right to go. I know with their fan base, I know the eyeballs that they generate through ratings, but losing to 2 unranked teams, that should be a disqualifier right there.